As of the recording of this video, right around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the United States Senate is still embroiled in a back and forth amendment process, which is delaying the eventual vote and passing of the $1.9 trillion bill. And although this process has been largely dull and annoying, there has been some moments of interest, of diversions and stallings and convincing and spite. But let me be honest with you, although it is annoying, it's actually proceeding along exactly like we expected it to. And because of that, I believe they are going to vote very shortly, actually today, on this bill, and they're probably going to pass it right along party lines. So what is really going on, and where do we stand right now? Well, this stall is coming on both ends. Actually, the Republicans and the Democrats are stalling for their own reasons. Let's talk about the Democrats first. This is coming down to Senator Joe Manchin, who in the last day or so has said that he will not vote for the $1.9 trillion bill because there's some line items in it that he doesn't agree with. This is causing some problems amongst the Democrats who want to stay united. So what they did is they used a stall tactic. Senator Bernie Sanders put a provision or an amendment in that would bring back the $15 minimum wage into the stimulus bill, even though it's already been determined by the Senate parliamentarian to be in violation of the reconciliation rules. And if it was put back into the bill, it would almost certainly mean that the bill would not get passed because moderate Democrats would not vote for it. But Bernie Sanders wasn't putting that provision in because he really thought it would pass. He was putting it in to stall. And while they were stalling, Joe Manchin, Chuck Schumer, and others were talking to figure out what needed to be changed in order for Joe Manchin to vote for this bill. And guess what? They figured it out. And what was that line item? He wanted the $400 unemployment boost to move down to $300. And so what did Chuck Schumer and Democrats do? They added that amendment in to appease Senator Joe Manchin. So now the unemployment boost is going to be $300 per week through September 6th. But they also got in a provision that the first $10,200 of unemployment benefits will be tax-free. That will be for any households that earn $150,000 or less. After those hours of figuring out what to do to make sure Joe Manchin was going to vote for this thing, they finally voted on Bernie Sanders' amendment provision to put the $15 minimum wage back into the bill. And guess what? It failed, as they expected it would. Every single Republican voted against it, and 8 Democrats voted against it. And that just lets you know that that never had a possibility of making it in, but they never thought it did. They just used it as a stall tactic to convince Joe Manchin to come along with them. And he did. At this point, we are now just being stalled by the Republicans, who are using their tactics just to delay the vote on this as long as possible and to share with the American people what they believe is a bill filled with pork, foreign spending, unrelated COVID-19 items, and a ballooned amount of money that's going to cause problems for the American people with the likes of inflation and paying back this very high debt amongst an economy that is actually improving. And so when you look at all of the metrics and you look at it in an unbiased way, it does seem like the United States economy is improving. Job numbers have been really good. Unemployment numbers have been much better. COVID-19 infections have been much better as well. And it does seem like state after state is reopening and we're moving towards more normalcy. And they're looking at this bill as a $2 trillion mess that's residing in the past and not in the future. And so late last night, after hours of this legislative nonsense, Mitch McConnell proposed a motion to adjourn until Saturday morning. That motion was denied, as every single Democrat voted against it. And this is what they said. They said, now that the agreement has been reached, the agreement between Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer and all the other Democrats, we are going to power through the rest of the process and get this bill done. Make no mistake. We are going to continue working until we get the job done. I actually believe that. I think that today they're going to actually vote on this thing. So taking a look at our chart, like I said, I put my big circle around Saturday because I believed that this nonsense would actually continue through Friday night into Saturday morning, and we are seeing that. But eventually the Republicans are going to grow weary and tired, and they're going to accomplish everything they can, which is stalling it as long as possible and then revealing as much of what they believe are the wrong parts of this bill to the American people. at which point they're going to relent. There's going to be a vote on this bill, and it's going to fall right down party lines. As it falls down party lines, you're going to get 50 Democrats to vote for it, and Kamala Harris will be the tie-breaking vote for 51, and I believe it will pass today. And then it will be sent off to the House, which will probably bring it to the floor on Monday morning, and they will immediately vote and approve the identical Senate bill, which at that point will be sent off to Joe Biden, and he will sign it. And then stimulus checks are going to go out probably right around a week after that. And on our calendar, we've been marking Wednesday, the 17th all along as the date where we see that the first checks are going to go out. And of course, they will trickle out to the American people in the months following after that, because our government is ridiculously slow at getting that money out to the American people. Although there's craziness out there and the media is sharing all of this with you, it's actually exactly what we expected to happen. And if you've been following this channel, you already expected this anyway. You knew that we were going to go into Saturday because we've been sharing that with you. And once they do vote and pass this thing, you know exactly where it's going. It's going to the House. They're going to pass it. And then Joe Biden is going to sign it. And that's the way it's going to go down. And then stimulus checks are going to go out. We will keep you up to date. Like I said, if anything does change, we will let you know. But thank you for coming along with me. As always, I will catch you next time.